boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees are Roger Goodell. Yeah, like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
In that game, I thought the O-line played really well. They did a good job in the protection, yet the stats don't say that as far as the numbers, but I think that the communication was improved, and overall I thought those guys played really well. Obviously, we didn't play well enough offensively, and it comes down to the turnovers.
Is the communication, was that like a McCoy to the line, Jameis to McCoy, Jameis to the line?
I think it was the whole group and us making sure that as we were going to the line of scrimmage, we were all on the same page at the start and seeing the communication, hearing the communication that was going on.
How close do you see Chris Olave and Jameis Winston from connecting all those deep passes?
Yeah, I think that obviously we kind of came away from the game thought we had a few opportunities that we didn't get, but again, we got to keep repping it, keep getting better at it, and keep coaching and doing a better job coaching it.
What are some strengths Olave brings to this offense that you look to utilize?
Yeah, I think that he has a vertical speed element to the game, and then he's also just got such a great feel for his routes again, I've said this before, not necessarily maybe running it like it's on paper, but knowing how to adjust to what the defense might be doing and finding a way to get open.
Is it rare to see a rookie be involved so quickly and get so many chances?
Well, I think when we drafted him, we felt really strongly about where he would be and what he could do for us. And so I think that, we're expecting him to be able to do those things.
What was the thing besides continuing to take those shots after the first ones didn't work out? Was it something that you guys continue to see as open?
Yeah, I think as you look back on it, the way that game was playing, you would say it was very similar to last year. Our defense was playing outstanding. We weren't really doing much offensively with as far as, production points. But, we expect when we have those opportunities that we're going to try to take advantage of it. And listen, sometimes those plays are called and it ends up going to maybe Chris, but maybe he's also not necessarily the first or second read. He might be, hey, the ball might go here, or it could go to him, and it's just the defense that presented allowed us to throw those plays, and unfortunately we didn't connect.
Jay was talking yesterday about needing to stay more patient in the fourth quarter. What's the process of you guys helping coach that and kind of keeping him, where he wants to be?
Yeah, I think that just knowing starting with me, communicating how the game was going. We weren't necessarily in a situation where we had to go down. Our defense, again, like I said, was playing, significantly well and holding them. So I think that we just, as coaches, got to do a better job making sure that message is communicated that, hey, we still have, time in this game. We can be patient. We don't have to force anything.
You guys haven't used Taysom Hill on a ton of tight end routes. Is part of that related to Juwan Johnson's growth in a similar?
I think there would be coming out of that game, there would be a couple reasons. But again, we've seen growth from that whole position group. So I think that those opportunities are going to come, and we got to do a better job maybe of getting those to happen.
Was any of that, I think you only had 6 snaps last week, was any of that related to the injuries he's dealing with?
No, he was fine for that game.
How normal does Mike Thomas look to you guys? Does he look like kind of the same player that he was before?
Yeah, I think he's playing real well, and I think he looks good. Yeah.
Pete, is there anything in particular beyond the turnovers that you kind of want to correct on last week?
Well, I think we said it the first week, our third down numbers have to be better. We can't just be, 3 and out. We've had too many of those this season. We were fortunate maybe to get a penalty or two to extend some of those last week, but I think our third down numbers have to be better.
Is that, if I've seen the numbers, is that like a factor just being in committee, like behind the sticks?
Oh, I think that happened to us a few times, probably more in the first game than the second game. I think that, some of it's just, I got to do a better job, and then some of it's execution.
Does this offense look any dramatically different with Baker now running as quarterback for the Panthers?
As opposed to Sam Darnold? Mm-hmm. Similar offensive scheme. I think they're, I wouldn't say they're similar body types, but they escape out the pocket about the same, release time about the same. You say there's a difference in drop depths, but that's something that, to each individual quarterback.
Cam, there are obvious reasons for your low sack totals based on the offenses you've faced so far, but what is something that you guys want to do more on the defensive line to sort of set the tone, I guess?
We would like to finish the fourth quarter. I'm going to let you guys worry about sacks, pressures, all that. All I want to do is win. As we go into each game plan is tweaked differently. I think there's some opportunities that we can take advantage of this week, and we'll hopefully be excited after the next dub and head on over to wherever we go to after that. Across the lake, across the pond. Is that what they call it?
Across the
Do you like the? I know this is spinning ahead a little bit, but the team has always had great success spending a week places, whether it's London or Seattle, or I feel like there's another one I'm forgetting. But I mean, do you like that?
Do I like traveling, switching up my sleep schedule to play in a game? Normally you get a bye week after, but then we go another 10 games. No, I love it. I love it. I love trying to come over adverse situations.
Yes,
That's what
indeed.
football's all about, anyways. More adversity shows your mental toughness and your strength that you can tell your kids when you're older. You're like the silly stuff that we did.
But when it comes to that week, of course you'd rather spend the whole week sleeping in your own bed. But do you have to reluctantly admit that it's shown benefits to spend a whole week?
I think anytime you're able to bond with your team on any location for a week and be isolated, it can bode well for the team. And that's what, I'll look forward to that after we get this win Sunday. But currently I'm focused on the baby blue, powder blue, whatever colors you want to call it, powder blue and black, and then go on from there.
What do you think Peyton Turner needs to do to earn, consistent playing time?
I mean, there's a lot of depth in the defensive end room. I mean, Peyton Turner is a first rounder. Marcus Davenport is a first rounder. Carl Grandison has earned his stripes over the last couple of years. You bring in Taco Charlton. I mean, Taco has some go to him. It's Tano Passion is. I mean, there's significant experience in the D-line room. So he's going to slowly ramp up. In my mind, you look at how long he's played or how many games he's played. He's technically still a rookie. So he still has a learning camp. He played 5 games last year.
It was 5 or
6?
Yeah, 5.
Okay, so then he played 1 game this year, so we haven't even gotten through a full season with him yet. We've got time to cultivate him.
What's Mayfield been able to do to make himself effective? Mayfield.
Baker.
Yeah.
I think he's been able to utilize CMC as well as Robbie and DJ to some potential. I mean, we all know DJ has some go to him, and Robbie is a deep threat. And of course, CMC in any open field. If you utilize him correctly, I think almost every other quarterback that the Panthers have had in the last can be effective.
Welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. Pete Carmichael, the OC of the New Orleans Saints offense, and of course, Cam, the man, Jordan, breaking down and talking about the upcoming matchup against the Carolina Panthers and what he wants to do. Defense has been fantastic, to be honest with you, in terms of what they were able to do over last year and carrying a lot of momentum into this year. They have not been able to sack the quarterback like I would like them to, but you can see in games
if the offense brings their punch along, the Saints should relatively be undefeated right now. I mean, to be honest with you, but that is a part of the game of learning your mistakes, learning from your mistakes, correcting yourself, and moving forward to have success. That, my friend, is the key to success. And that is also opens up the Sports Coma. Shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all being in the live stream. Please feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, as well as to share the show stream on your social media feed. We up in this thing. Shout out to the fam on this one called Concerns Continue for Jameis Winston Battling Injuries, baby. So much love to the fam. We'll go over a couple of articles. This will not be a long stream. Of course, I'll be back for my Friday stream where we go in depth and break down the Carolina Panthers. We'll take a look at the depth chart and we'll go over it on our Friday stream. So Thursday stream will not be a long stream. So I'll try not to keep you guys very long today. So shout out to the fam in the building. Big ups to everybody up in this thing. Good to see you guys. Poppy 504, Be Kind, OG Jerry Poor, K Molinaire, Torrey Shepard Senior, Chosen Kingston. Shout out to you. Young City Night Ward. 3Ls in the building as well. New Orleans native. St. Doug. Good to see you, fam. Brian Pearson. Yin Grant. What's up, fam? Chance Black in the building. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate you being up in this thing. My boy Farouk is in here. Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to brother Alton. Way up there chilling in New York. Shout out to you, bro. Appreciate you stopping by. T-Rob's in the building as well. Good to see brother Robert Clark in the building. Who else we got? Brother Frederick. What's up, bro? Shout outs to you, fam. Good to see KB. What's up? What's popping to my queens out there? Tragic 504. Much love, bro. Trav 504. Big ups to you, fam. Okula. Shout out to you, bro. Good to see you in the stream as well. Big ups to you, Carla. I see you. Shout out to you. Gundam is in the building. Shout out to you. New Orleans native. Shout out to you. King Will. Shout out to you, my brother. Cy. Big ups to you. Big Bull Hoffa. Much love, brother Derek. What's happening, fam? Brother Derek Hennessy in the building. Brother Chris, who that to you as well. Much love. Big ups to you. Mr. No Charge. Mr. No Charge to keep it real. Thank you, fam. Much love to you. Much love. All right. Yes, indeed, bro. We got to improve upon and listen. This is going into the third week of football. Still a lot of football out there to be played. And of course, like I told when we opened up and we had all these discussions coming into the regular season about what the Saints look like in the first 2 to 3 to 4 weeks of football. We know there's a rust factor. Then, of course, is the chemistry issues where they have to learn the tendencies of each other. And then there's the harmony aspect, getting in line. And this only could be done in large part by being on the field to play in the live games. In the real game simulation, you can do as much as you can do. Practice helps, but nothing can pretty much simulate exactly what you get in real live action. So, that's why it's pivotal for the black and gold to keep striving, man, and iron out the wrinkles in their offense and anywhere else to have a deep playoff run. And there's still plenty of time. We're 1-1 and a lot of football left to be played. But to be honest with you, the Saints are getting a tremendous dish served up to them in the form of the Carolina Panthers. Not overlooking the Panthers, but they are weak in a lot of areas where the Saints are strong. So this could be a matchup made in heaven for the Saints to get back on the right side of things, man, as they're struggling mightily. And with the proper game plan, the Saints can have success against the Carolina Panthers on Sunday. So we'll hope that they bring out the right game plan. And we know they got some smart guys in the building who are very successful, and I'm pretty sure they'll iron it out for real. All right, shout out to the fam. Good to see you guys in the building. Big ups to the rest of the fam up in this thing. Hit the like button. What's up, Ty? Shout out to you. Draper Don, shout out to you. Good to see you. 985J in the building. What's up, 985J? What's popping, baby? D, shout out to you as well. Good to see the fam in there, man. Appreciate y'all being up in this, man. Appreciate y'all joining me. All right, so anyway, let's get up in this thing, man. Let's start off with the injury report as we get on in the stream. And this, of course, is today's injury report in the black and gold building. And it talks about the Saints having 10 people, that's right, 10 of them on the injury list. And let's take a look at them for week 3's action. Of course, Paulson Adebo has been practicing. Of course, remember, he was shut down the first 2 games of the year, but he has been limited in practice, which is a good sign to see Paulson Adebo out there working in practice. Elvin Kamara, another really good sign to see Elvin out there doing his thing. He was limited Wednesday and Thursday. Traquan Smith dealing with a shoulder issue. He was limited. Ryan Ramczyk has an elbow issue. He was limited. Taysom Hill dealing with some rib issues. He was limited. Another rib issue from Marcus May. Boy, I'm telling you, them ribs. If I had a bag of ribs, I'd be a rich man to sell to them people. And they limited. He was limited as well. Jameis back and ankle issues. Jameis is dealing with. He's limited. Adam Prentice with a shoulder issue. Our fullback was limited. Deontay Harty has a foot issue. He was limited. And Alontae Taylor didn't do too much Wednesday, dealing with a knee issue, but was limited in Thursday. So a very encouraging injury report where all of the guys were able to participate in today's practices as we continue to keep an eye out on some of our star players, in particular, Mr. Jameis Winston. So let's keep it rolling on into their side of things to the Carolina Panthers. Not too much to talk about. Dante Jackson was limited. He dealing with a hamstring issue. And then McCaffrey was rested on Wednesday, but he came back on Thursday and was limited. One of their better linebackers, Frank Louvu, dealing with shoulder issues. He was limited. Stanley Thomas Oliver, the cornerback, has an Achilles issue and was limited. So short list for Carolina. Saints, not so short in some of our stars and key members of our teams, both on both sides of the ball, are on this list. So let's continue to kind of send prayers their way for these guys to continue to improve. All right. Shout out to Brandon for being a pro megastar over the last 7 months. Appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate you. Shout out you. St. John Butler, shout out to you, my friend. Good to see you. Robert says, Q, do you have the scout report for the Panthers? We're going to cover that on Friday stream, my friend. We're going to go into the scouting report. We'll talk about it on Friday. That's when you customarily what we do. But the truthful point was, if you go and look back at the last broadcast we had when our good friends from the from the Panthers Nation podcast came on, Brother Rashad and Brother Dave, shout out to those brothers. They pretty much gave you a really, really accurate scouting report about the Carolina Panthers. They're straight to the cut. Them guys is no nonsense. They keep it real. That's they squad, but listen, they keep it real and they tell it. They don't inflate the team bigger than what it is. And they gave a pretty accurate surmise of what's going on with Carolina, both offensively and defensively. So if you want to go back and listen, you can hear what Brother Rashad and Dave was saying, because I was looking at some players from their side of things, and what they were saying was they keep it a buck. So but the scouting report, we'll go over that and keys to victory in our Friday stream as well, and then we'll do some Q&A and stuff like that. Jamie said, Jamie, shout out to you. Said, do you think Jameis Winston is going to play or not, or is it Andy Dalton's going to start? I think Jameis starts this matchup against Carolina. I think Jameis starts. I don't think he gets pulled down or whatnot. I think Jameis starts against him. And I think the only way Jameis doesn't start is if Jameis is unable to start. Did you get that? Did you get that, baby? That's the only way I see Jameis not starting, is if he's unable to start. You get that? That's what it'll take for them to pull him up out of there. But if he can stand up and throw the ball, they're going to give him every opportunity to keep the job. That's pretty much what it is. All right, anyway, let's move on, family, and keep it going into the next side of it. And, of course, let's get into this article right here. It's the key article I want to go over by Kat Terrell from ESPN. Concerns continue to mount for Saints offense as Jameis Winston battles the injuries. It's straight from her in the ESPN article. The Saints offense has a problem, and the problem is bigger than simple inconsistency. Do tell, Kat. The Saints 1-1 are 8 quarters into the season with only one good quarter to show for it. They ranked 17th in total offense, could be dead last. 18th in passing offense, middle of the pack, and 19th in rush offense. Say it again. Say it loud. 18th in pass, 9th in the NFL in running of the football. 9th. Top 10. The Saints right now through 2 weeks for all of the naysayers about the Saints offense. And rightfully so, a lot of them have good points about what's going wrong with the Saints offense. But one of the major positives that we spoke about over the last couple of weeks, and particularly over this last week, was the fact that the Saints are a good running team. Well, Dennis Allen did he not say, family, when we played interviews on Dennis Allen on this show several dozen times, interviews from him saying, speaking in particular his first interview when he talked about when he got hired or what he wants to do. He mentioned running the ball, having a power running game before he mentioned the passing attack. He said running first, which look with the Saints offensive line, a new offensive line without, Armstead there. They're ranked 9th not number 9, ninth in the top 10 in the NFL right now. So that's pretty positive, which should give you an indication of what your ass is supposed to do against the Carolina Panthers. Let me tell you, if St. John, I think it was somebody else, I'm sorry, whoever asked me about the scouting report, brother Robert Clark, bro, just a hint on a little preview of the talk about that. It got something to do with the rushing attack. It got something to do with the rushing attack. Run the damn ball. All right. All right, let's finish up. That could be partially attributed to playing a good Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense last week without running back Alvin Kamara, who set out with a rib injury. It could be a matter of chemistry between the new faces on offense. I think everything's going to be something we can work on, but I feel like we're starting to kind of gather our identity of what some of our guys can do, what they can do best, says Jameis. I think we can start putting that more moving forward. The more pressing concern is Winston's back. Winston said Wednesday that he's preparing to start if he would any other week, but he has been playing injured since he went into the medical tent to get checked out in the fourth quarter of the 27-26 win against the Falcons in week 1. Ironically, that was the best quarter the Saints have played so far, as Winston threw 2 touchdown passes and had a 40-yard pass to set up the game-winning field goal that erased a 16-point deficit. While it's hard to know how much the injury affected Winston against the Buccaneers, there were times where it certainly looked like it could have been a factor in the 20-10 loss. Winston looked almost timid on some of the scrambles and overthrew several deep passes. According to ESPN stats and information, Winston was 2 of 11 on passes that went at least 15 yards through the air, compared to 8 of 11 the week before. He did not complete his first such pass until the 5-minute and 17-second mark of the fourth quarter. Winston threw 3 interceptions in the fourth quarter. One was a deep pass to Chris Olave with good coverage. One was significantly off target to tight end Juwan Johnson, and the final was taken back for a touchdown after he attempted to fit a pass to receiver Jarvis Landry in between 2 defenders. Impatience. That was the big thing Winston said of his throws to Landry and Johnson, and noted he should have checked down. Now, this is just common football logic. This is some of the stuff that Drew Brees was teaching him, and what James was saying in various other interviews that we played on this show, where when he said he would talk to the greats and they would ask him how do they maintain greatness or get to be greatness, and they told him patience. And Drew Brees told him in times before, and Drew Brees had these situations, and Jameis Winston confirmed it by speaking the same words, that Drew told him, sometimes you got to take what the defense gives you. And that's something that that if he can get that in his head, which I think he can, that we should have success moving forward. He said he could live with the shot to Olave because the cornerback made a good play and it didn't give the Bucs good field position. The Saints also came up empty on one of their best drives of the game after Mark Ingram lost the fumble at Tampa's 20-yard line in the third quarter. We knew that was going to be a field position game. We knew that we're playing a good defense. I thought for the first time, 3.5 quarters, we played the game in the way it needed to be played. I thought we missed some opportunities at some big plays down the field, and I thought we maybe tried to go to the well a little bit too often in terms of taking these shots downfield. That's what Allen said. Now, Allen conceded that Winston missed some throws he might normally make, but has repeatedly said he didn't believe Winston's injury played a role. He also said he never considered sitting Winston before or during the game because of the injury. He noted that Monday that Winston wasn't in any more pain than usual. The pain and discomfort is the pain and discomfort of losing a game, Allen said. That was the pain and discomfort for us all. I think Winston dealing with that and more. Winston was also limited in practice all week, did not appear to participate in individual drills during the open portion of practice Wednesday. He was officially listed as limited. Allen said that he would be on a similar schedule as the previous week. And the Saints head into a 10-day stretch away from home, first against the Panthers, then immediately to London to face the Vikings. Winston will have to shake off the discomfort if the Saints are going to realize their full offensive potential. They also have to figure out a way to give up fewer sacks, especially given Winston's injury situation. Talk on it. The Saints have given up 10 sacks through 2 games, which is second in the NFL, but it's not entirely on the offensive line. Of the 6 sacks given up against the Bucs, Allen said he could only really blame 2 on protection issues. So he throwing the 6, he got 6, he's saying only 2 of them, and the rest of them was on Jameis. Allen was shocked by the 6 sacks, but maybe that has more to do with the retooled offense. Thomas, 3 receiver touchdowns are tied for second in the NFL. Landry led the Saints in receiving yards in his debut against the Falcons with 9 catches for 114. The concerted effort was made to involve Olave against the Bucs, targeting him 13 times, but connecting with him only 5 times for 80 yards. The more we get to know each other, the more we get a feel of having all of the pieces. Winston said we have a big piece last week that wasn't with us with Elvin. Now so much of our offense revolves around him. I think the more games we get together, the more practice we get together will be beneficial for us all. So the reality at the end of the day is that, yes, the Saints, even without Elvin Kamara, you know, and we don't have to sit up here and say what Elvin Kamara, even with that being said, with Elvin Kamara, the Saints averaged 5.1 yards rushing against the Tampa Bay defense, which is a pretty good defense. They ran on them at 5.1 on 20 carries. That's pretty damn good. Without your number 1 running back there, that's pretty good. So knowing that he has back issues moving forward, adjustments have to be made. And I'm not just talking about adjustments like a chiropractor or something, but offensively speaking, the Saints have to adjust to what Jameis Winston limitations are as a quarterback, and not sit up here and pretend like he doesn't have a broken vertebrae in his back. You're going to have to acclimate to what he is, and you're going to have to fit the offense around the running a game. That's the bottom line. You're going to have to run the damn ball to get success against Carolina. So, like I said, I ain't a prophet. I just play one on television. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say right now, just a little of the preview talk, is that I'm pushing for the Saints to rush at least 30 plus times in the matchup against the Carolina Panthers, and hold Jameis Winston to 20 to 25 throws in this contest. If the Saints can run the ball 30 plus times against Carolina and dominate their defensive line, they can control the clock, they can set up the play action, they can get the harmony and the synergy that they so very well want to have. The key to it is the running game. As Cat Terrell astutely mentioned, the Saints rushing attack, running the ball in the NFL through 30 plus teams, is 9th in the NFL. So the Saints need to take that gift and keep on using it against the next several teams to set up the offense. We have to go through that. Anyway, that's the talking points on Jameis Winston. Let's move on to another article, family, after this, and then we'll take a few Q&A. NFL sends warning letter to the Buccaneers exec Bruce Arians for actions on the sideline during game versus the Saints. Sending in a player to get into a fight and they get a warning letter. Where was the warning letter when the stuff happened with the Saints? The Saints wasn't given a warning. The Saints, that type of stuff never happened. Where was the warning letter for the black and gold? So when did they start issuing out warning letters? Where was the warning letter for the Saints? The warning, listen, you do this again, we're going to have to fine you. There's none of that. You know, it's such a hypocritical bunch of garbage, man. You know, I just downright despise this just terrible garbage bastard commissioner we have with these double standardy rules that they roll out. These double standard bullshit moves that with no commonsensical movements that they make, just clear, obvious double standard bias. Where was the warning letter for the black and gold? Where was the warning letter? It's just phenomenally wicked and corrupt how these bastards handle the business. That's why I just pointed out to show you how trifling this bastard commissioner is. They just trash. Anyway, let's get into it. The NFL has sent a message to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers former head coach Bruce Arians and his role in the skirmish. What role in the skirmish led to Mike Evans' 1-game suspension, which should have been more than 1 game. It should have been at least 2 games, being that he had a history of blindsiding Marshawn Lattimore before he basically ran into him and spiked him in his back when Jameis was in the final year I think it was the final year when Jameis was there, when Jameis poked him in the back of the helmet, and he turns around and this asshole spikes him from behind. And he has a history of targeting Marshawn Lattimore, and all he gets is 1 game suspension. What about his previous conduct? But when David Onyemata had got that box of goody goods that he didn't touch, And the people didn't press charges on him. Where was the warning letter for David Onyemata? No, he had to serve game suspensions. He didn't get a warning letter. You know, where's the warning letter for the Who Dat Nation when stuff happened, when things happen? Where was the warning letter? This guy sent this asshole out there to run into a player. He could have hurt him. And then all he gets is a warning letter. Amazing. Simply amazing. The Buccaneers head coach Todd Bowles explained earlier this week that Arians was on the sideline because the Saints did not have a suite available for Bucs personnel. The Saints reportedly did not reserve a seat in the press box for Arians. So what the hell was he doing there? But you give him a warning letter? He was trespassing. He wasn't even supposed to be there. He didn't even have the proper credentials to be there. But he was there, down there instituting, orchestrating fights. He was down there. So this guy is trespassing. He doesn't have any credentials because the Saints didn't give him any. And you mean to tell me down on the sideline, a place where he's not supposed to be, jawing at the Saints, not only jawing at them, but the son bitch also sending his players in there to get in fights with people? The former coach was in the bench area, but clearly in the white stripe reserved for coaches, players, and officials during Sunday's altercation and seen getting verbally involved. He was in there talking and jawing. Given how Sunday unfolded, we expect Arians to be in a suite or a press box for Sunday's home tilt against the Green Bay Packers. Listen, man, this is this type of stuff what I'm talking about, why people don't like the NFL, because this is a double standard right here. When you issuing warning letters to Tampa Bay, but no warning letters to the Saints when stuff happened. No warning letters to anybody else, but you give Tampa Bay a warning letter. You under penalize Mike Evans for hitting Marshawn Lattimore when he should have been given at least a 2-game suspension because he had previous involvement with this before. This is corrupt, dumb. This is corrupt, dumb, gutless bullshit. Play call and double standard nonsense by a crappy, garbage, bastard, reptilian scumbag commissioner. So, I mean, it's pathetic, man. But anyway, let's finish up, man. On it, the Saints injury report. Paulson Adebo, Kamara, Ryan Ramczyk, Traquan Smith, for anybody who cares, Taysom Hill, Marcus May, Jameis Winston with back and ankle issues, Prentice, Harty, and Taylor, all limited in practice for Thursday. So it's a good sign that these players will be involved in the Week 3 matchup against the commissioner. Oh, I said the commissioner. Freudian slip. Against the Carolina Panthers. Anyway, and then, of course, with the Carolina Panthers on the other side of things, Dante Jackson, limited. Caffrey was rested. He'll be good to go. Frank Louvu had a shoulder issue. And Stanley Tom Oliver, the cornerback dealing with Achilles injury, is limited as well. We also covered the article that was pretty good by Kat Terrell, who was talking about the concerns about Jameis Winston, the offense, and Jameis Winston as he battled injuries, as it's showing that he had a back issue, not an ankle issue, and the things that the Saints should do are just spotting out, putting some really good facts around the Saints offense that should breed some confidence in people right now who don't see it, that think that the Saints are trending in the wrong direction. I would caution you to be patient and understand that we in only week 3 of the NFL season. All right. So anyway, and then of course the NFL sends warning letter to the Buccaneers, which is a double standard piece of garbage, man. This commissioner we have, such a pathetic piece of nonsense he is. All right. And that's the stories we got for you today, family, on this one. But it flames me because there was no warning letter for when did you start issuing out warning letters? And I don't want to make a big spiel about it because I already lambasted that piece of crap, that piece of garbage trash. But this is the type, that's why I get flamed up about stuff like that, because I hate double standards. And this is definitely a double standard, a huge one. All right, let me get a few questions from the family members before I kind of dirk out this thing, man. Like I said, I wasn't going to make it a long show today. Just a short show, and then we'll do a show tomorrow. We'll come back on the Friday and do a preview of the Carolina Panthers, and we'll break down the depth chart, and we'll look at stuff like that. All right, Gundam says, and that was Mike Evans' second offense, Big Q, and only 1-game suspension. Unbelievable. I know, double standard, garbage trash. That's what that commission is. Filth, absolute filth. It never amazes me how pathetic he is. Him and his garbage ass referees. All right, anyway, let's keep it going, man. Y'all got any questions and comments in there? Feel free to throw them up, family, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. All right, Gundam said, when we face the Buccaneers again, if everyone is healthy, we will crush them. Yeah, that's a big part of it. I think we'll be fine going into the season. I just think that the Saints should start running the ball more, and I said that they are a very good running team, man. They are a very good running team. We can stick with that run. We'll be fine. Trav 504 says last season Brady said he got a warning letter for breaking the tablets, and he did it again. Did he get games? Anything happening to him? None of that. This is double standard nonsense. Chance says Q, every game seems like we're playing against Roger Goodell, the refs, another team. You are, and every game like last game when they hit Roby with that penalty and he on a missed tackle, which has never been seen before. And several penalties they did that I've never seen before, but they continue to make up new rules as the game is going. So it's just showing you blatantly in front of your face. And that's why I called it out, because ultimately, and you know, it'll lead to large changes, a lot of sea changes coming in the NFL. I promise you that, because people are, they're masquerading as a professional football league, but it's more of an entertainment thing than anything. They like writing narratives. This is the thing. They got writers somewhere, and they love creating narratives for which teams they think gonna do it, and they do a little preview streaming where they'll throw out something, this, that, or third, or try to beef up this player or talk about this guy, and for whatever reason, this player start getting more press than the other player because that's the narrative. You know. True football leagues don't have narratives. The best teams win. That's what it's down. That's what it comes down to. The best team win, and the officiators stay out of the way of interfering with the game. But this is not the case in the NFL. The officials get in the middle of the game and manipulate the game to get the greatest outcomes to their paymasters in Vegas. This is what this is about. So what do the Saints do? Do they roll over to Vegas? No, the Saints fight them. The Saints have to fight the officials, and they have to fight the commissioner, and they have to fight the opposing team. That's what we do. And like it ain't hard to tell when that scummy ass bastard Ed Hockley's son came into the Superdome. Did I not warn y'all about that? Did I not raise the sirens and the warns about this Hockley dude? Did I not say that they given Brady 3-point win or whatever it was, and most of his offensive line missing and all this kind of stuff, and Goodwin didn't play? They're like, how you gonna beat him by 3? Did I tell you that there was something on the horizon? Now you seen what they was cooking. So that's what we got to continue to do. We got to continue to blow the top off all this nonsense and all this corrupt ass stuff that's going on, and play football. You know, that's the gun. And they're not going to, and most of the changes are not going to happen on the ground because the commissioner and his little flunkies are behind it. See, the commissioner worked for the owners, and they manipulate these games. That's why when they started all these betting apps, I said, man, you about to see a groundswell of corruption that you ain't never seen before. Some of the worst bullshit calls in your life, you about to see it. And we only 2 weeks in, and we done seen some of the worst that I've seen in NFL over the last 10 to 15 years, because now they have to get so obvious with the lies and the bullshit calls that they have to manipulate, and it's becoming very clear. And it's like people used to watch the game with a malaise over their eyes. Oh, there's no corruption going on here. Not like hell it ain't. Like hell it ain't. And it ain't gonna go away with you sitting up there pretending like it don't exist. You gotta pinpoint it and call it out, man, like it is. That's why I don't care. I'll sit up here and I'll blast that bastard commissioner. I'll talk about him and his flunky robot drone minded ass officials that never get penalized or money taken away from or suspended for bad calls that affect games. That's me on here. I've been doing this for years, going at that dude. For y'all that been listening to the Sports Coma for years, you tell them that. For the family members that haven't, that who've been riding on and blasting on this bastard commissioner, pinpointing all of his double standard bullshit ass calls that he's do, especially against the Who Dat Nation. All right, so anyway, let's keep it going. Brian says, who do you okay, hold on, he was talking to Lori. St. John says, imagine if Sean Payton was on the sideline joining at the Bucs. Ashban says, quick decision, throw the football to whoever's open. J Hall, shout out to you, J Hall. Appreciate you hitting the subscribe button, fam. Much love to you. Appreciate you. Ashban says, quick decision, throw the football to whoever's open. It's okay to check down. Jameis positive plays are good. All right, Sai says, what do you think about the Saints pass rush? I think they need to get the pass rush. They need to turn it up, bro. They did a real good job against the run against Tampa Bay with Leonard Fournette, who had a $120 something against the Cowboys, and then he gets 60 yards against the Saints. He gets half that total, less than half that total against the Saints. The Saints turned that running attack off. The issue was that Tampa Bay kept running the ball because they couldn't just force Tom Brady to throw it. The Saints would have been rear back in coverage, waiting for him to throw it. But had the Saints had more of a pass rush in that game to get Tom Brady down more than one sack, hell, they wasn't even hitting him and knocking him down. You can't do that. The pass rush has to get going. Now, they did stuff to run. But once they stuff to run, you got to get that statue down. But what it does do, and I know eventually they'll fix whatever's going on, because Dennis Allen just dial up the pressure. That's what he'll do. He'll just turn up the pressure. You're going to see them watch next game against the Carolina Panthers. Dennis Allen going to turn up the pressure, and they're going to be knocking that Baker Mayfield all over the ground. That Baker going to be hitting the ground, all his pastries, his honey buns, and every damn else thing he's hitting the ground. that Baker, all of his honey buns and his scones and his biscuits and donuts and everything he baking is going on the ground, man. I promise you that much. It's going on the ground. Brandon says, could Sean Payton get a higher up job with the Saints? Would he take it? I mean, there's nowhere for Sean Payton to go in the Saints organization except for general manager, and that's Mickey Loomis. You know, I mean, that's the only way you could sway him, like, okay, we'll make you a general manager. But do you really want to do that with Sean Payton, who's already an egotistical dude already, who's big-headed, and I mean big-headed more than just, you know, just obvious. He got one of them them Death Stars sitting up there. But I mean, at the end of the day, do you really want a person with that type of mentality to be the general manager? You know, you might as well just shut down everything and create a pipeline from here to Ohio State, a big bridge, and just walk them on over here. So I think Peyton done with, man. We need to let him rest in peace and go ahead on and do what he's going to do wherever he's going to go. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he says, only my other call was BS also. But no, it's all right. Yeah, I got the idea. FM says, hold on, fam. I'm sorry. It scrolled on you. I missed your commentary. I'm sorry. All right. All right. Kai says, how do you feel about our O-line, Q? I feel like they need to play better. It's a must. They turn the tide. They need to hit their stride going forward. Yeah, I think the O-line, bro, is cool in terms of the running attack. I think that's where you need to rely. I think all that stuff with sacking the quarterback, that goes away. I think a lot of that goes away when you start running the ball, because listen, my humble estimation is the Saints had the wrong game plan against Tampa. If you know the limitations of Jameis Winston, you know, I don't care what kind of drugs you giving him to kill the pain in his back, but the best thing you can do is not let him throw it that much. You shouldn't have threw it 40 times. And he got 4 broken vertebrae in his back. That makes no sense. That was totally not a good game plan, especially when you're running the ball in over 5 yards per carry, 5.1 to be precise. You run it 30 times, you change the game. We got to do that. This got to be a running team now, man. You know, run first, off the pass later. You see what I'm saying? They got to use the running attack because the offensive line is solid. You look at them when they run the ball, they are good. And we knew that they were a good running team. What that does is you put the ball in the hands of the running backs. Elvin Kamara, hopefully Mark Ingram doesn't fumble anymore for the rest of the goddamn season, or sit him on the bench, activate Latavius Murray and let him run. You know, we don't need no more fumbles, Mark. For real, bro. You're too old in the game to be fumbling in back-to-back games like this, man. This terrible. But put it in the hands of the rushing attack, you know, and hold, like I said, Winston snap his throws to 20 to 25 per contest, which should be precise, because if you're running the ball, you can dominate the clock. And you doing it that way, I think that'll serve you better. That will definitely serve you better than what the hell whatever we was doing in the Bucks game. But I think the offensive line, if we can stick to just running the ball, I think they'll start getting the rhythm. I think they'll hit on the passing stuff as well. You know how you go. You need one to start the other, and I say go for the run. The Saints are a good running team. Caller says, Q, did you hear they restructured Evans' contract to reduce his one? Yeah, I know. I've heard something about that, Carla. I'm not surprised by that at all. I think that, you know, it's just sad, man, because it's such a double standard, and I really despise that he, you know, and he doesn't even care that that's out there. that you're sending warning letters to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers but penalizing everybody else. It ain't even just the Saints. They penalize everybody else but warn the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's some double standard shit. And I ain't the only one that see it. Somebody need to say something besides myself. To see the obvious double standards as opposed to sit up there and kiss the NFL's ass. The hell with you. If you out here playing double standard games, it's not supposed to be that way. You know, you're not supposed to be favoring and giving warning letters to one team and penalizing everybody else. Thank you, baby. All right, Tim says Washington should play more against the Panthers. Eugene says Big Q, and now we get the crew that's thrown the second most flags outside of Hockey League's crew this week. Of course you do. Of course. Of course, you heard what Cam said during his interview. I just played it early in the show when he talked about usually when you get off, when you got the bye situation that circulates around before you go to the Pine, or, before you go to the Pine, you get that bye week, but you got to go over to Europe and then come back and play more games. And then your bye is way down in the week. So Cam put that out there. He was like, yeah. So no other team, to my knowledge, has had to play all 3 division games to start off the year. Then have the Europe game thrown on them, and they don't get a bye after or before, usually before. You get it before you go over there. And then, or after. No, you go over there, then you go wherever you go, and then you go, and then you get it way down in the year. Obviously, man, that was all a setup. It's all a setup. But the only thing you can do is knock them down one chance. You know where they're trying to stop you. We knew that when we looked at it. I'm like, man, this is something else, but we're gonna knock it down. And they talk about the gauntlet. The gauntlet, we're gonna have to beat the gauntlet. Bottom line. None of this shit gonna be easy. But it's gonna test the mettle of the team. We know they're a good team. And they'll just rise to the occasion. That's just what they got to do. The best, the cream of the crop, rise to the occasion, baby. That's the universal principle. Regardless of some flim-flammy schedule makers try to stop you, you just got to run through it. All right. Thank you, Eugene. Yeah, I know, bro. It's sad, but we in here. Chance says we're seeing them already. You're so correct. Thank you, bro. Sai says they gift wrapped the Atlanta game, and they was trying to get a game there. Like I told y'all after the guy said you wasn't supposed to win that, right? You wasn't supposed to win that Atlanta game. Then they send Hockley in here, who penalizes the hometown team more than he penalizes the away team. He creates all these weird ass penalties in the game. He throws a penalty on Roby for a missed tackle, which I've never seen that before. It was a couple other penalties that he did that I've never seen before. It's phenomenal. But still in all, regardless of all of that cheating, did you not still have an opportunity to win that game? You did. So in essence, with all of the stuff, the schedules and all the stuff they throw against us, you still are in these games to win these games. And the only reason you don't win these games is not because of the officials. It's because of our own ineptitude and not putting together a proper game plan. Because had we been running that ball, we'd have beat that team. And we'd have had them fuming. So anyway, let's keep it going, man. All right. Shout out to the fam, man. Good to see y'all. All right. We got a birthday. Hoodie's it. Okay, Hoodie's your birthday, boy. Shout out to my brother Hoodie, man. Good. Happy birthday to you, my friend. Shout out to Hoodie, man. Happy birthday, brother. All right. Good to see you, bro. All right. Let's keep it going, man. A few more, then I'm going to bounce out. All right. Let's keep it going. All right. Okay, Hoodie says, Q, if you have a few minutes tonight, I'm having my birthday stream. Come slide on through if you have a few minutes. All right, bro, I'm going to try, bro. I'm going to try, man. I'm kind of pressed for time tonight, man. I just be so busy, man. I'm going to try, bro. I know it's your birthday, special time, bro. I'll come out. I'm going to try to make it a way to pop in on there, bro, and wish you a happy birthday, bro. All right, shout out to you, my friend. Brother Wallace said, what up, Q? I think they need to sit down Jameis just for this one game and let him get healthy. We can win with Andy. Dalton. Yeah, I got you, bro. One game ain't gonna do it, bro, to be honest with you, Brother Wallace. I hear where you're going. You want to get them rested. I don't think one game gonna do it, my brother, to be you got 4 broken vertebrae. One game, he needs a string of games. You need to sit him down for like a month, maybe about 6 weeks worth of games, to be honest with you, for him to heal up so you can have him for later on in the year. But the Saints are going to play him until he can't play. That will be the thing, that he can't go. He can't throw the ball. And the thing is, like I said, you have to run the ball keep it, run the ball and reduce his throws to maybe 20 to 25 because that reduced people coming around there and hitting them and knocking them down. If you hand the ball over, you get the play action going and everything works well for you. But yeah, they're going to have to do a way better job of protecting Jameis Winston from getting sacked. And Jameis going to have to learn how to stay in that pocket, because the only way you scramble, Jameis, if you got a open lane for you to get in there. I'm pretty sure they're telling them that to watch out. So yeah, I hear you with Andy Dalton, because Dalton was brought in here just in case Jameis couldn't play the team or play the games. So you're right. Dalton is an insurance policy. So a lot of people say, you know what, Jameis has got all this going on, got ankle shit, and now he got broken vertebrae in his back he picked up in the Atlanta game. Good Lord. And plus he's still dealing with the, other stuff. So like he all kind of ways tore up. So when we just sit him down, let him rest, then we bring him back later in the year. They're not going to do that. The only way they're not going to do that. These people are proud. There's a lot of money they paying Jameis Winston to play in these games. Remember, it's many times it's about the money. Because if it's about his health, he wouldn't be playing, to be honest with you, right? They always like to talk this health shit all day. Oh, we respect the health of the players. We listen. Let me tell you something. We care nothing about the health. We care all about the health of our players. We won't let you play and won't let you get hurt. But if you're making all of this money, you got to justify the bread, baby. So in essence, it's all about the money. Because truthfully and honestly, he should be sitting down somewhere healing up. But they're going to play Jameis until Jameis can't play. That way you can't say the Saints benched him. He had to be sitting down because he couldn't play. You see, he couldn't make the game. So it's not our fault that he was hurt. We had to go to Dalton. You see what I'm saying? Nobody wants to take the weight. Nobody wants to take the smoke. Nobody wants to make the call to say, nah, Jameis back tore up and he got ankle issues, bro. I'm going to sit you down, put this other healthy quarterback in. He is an insurance policy. And in about 4 or 5 weeks, we'll bring you back when you're healthy enough and put you right on top of the team and you can whatever. Oh, no. Oh, no. No, sir. No, sirree. Ain't going to work like that. All right. Shout out, fam. Eugene say Peyton is an egomaniac coach at the heart. Not saying that's a bad thing, but it definitely means, oh, yeah, we know Coach Peyton for years, man. Coach Peyton. I had to get on Peyton for talking sporty to the family members when they was questioning him about why he did the calls that, in the game, like why you did that, and he flaming up and getting mad at them. I'm like, hold on, boy. Who you talking to? You just the coach of this team, but this team is you got to put him in his place. I put him in his goddamn place. I told him, you can't talk to these people like this. These people are the reason why you got money, why you got that bread here. If it wasn't for them supporting your ass, you wouldn't have that. So, it's not the family members run that shit, man. If we wasn't funding them people, they wouldn't be there. That's how I go. If you wasn't funding them, if you wasn't paying all of the bills in the dome and doing all that shit, because them people ain't paying that. You got a med on there, don't even want to pay for the first class ticket she ran up. I want to feel safe. Well, then pay the goddamn money back. No, I ain't doing that. You pay it. Goddamn, man, what kind of shit that's it? Oh, hold on. So you spent it and it came from you. You don't want to put it back? No, I ain't doing that. No, I dare you to take it. I'm like, what? Man, come on, man. Boy, I tell you how we as a people, man, let this shit rock is beyond me. Anyway, but the reality is that's how a lot of these people feel entitled. They feel entitled because you sit up here and you prop them up and the people told him he was an offensive genius and he was all this. That shit that done got in his head and his head big as hell. So, I mean, at the same time, you got to check these people, man. I don't care who they are. Who the hell you think you are, Jesus? No, you got to check them people, man. You got to check them when they do stuff like that. And people saying, no, you can't talk to them like that. Who the hell you think you are? And protecting this dude right here and he talking smack to the people like that. And they just asking him football related questions. He could have easily sat down and told him, listen, the reason why I did that was this. I did it like this. Now you break it down and tell you're a coach. Explain it to him. Explain it to him. You don't flame up. You cut this meat better. Like who the hell you think you are? And I got on his ass for that. I got on him several times. And I remember people told me it got back to him and he ain't like it. I don't give a fuck if you like it or not. We are the boss. We run the team, not you. And that's the mentality that I have. I don't cow under them people, man. You are the boss. That's the chair that you operate under. You run the team. You pay for the team. You support the team. If you didn't do that, they wouldn't be there. See, I recognize my power in this whole thing. You see what I'm saying? And it don't take no receipts. It don't take no goddamn certificates or you going to school. None of that. You stand on what you know and you keep it a real. You keep it a buck. And when people start out there bucking and doing all that shit, you set them in their place. You set the record straight. That's what you do. I don't give a damn if you like it or not. And just like I said, when I was here, I said, I've been a Saints fan longer than you, and I'll be a black and gold man long before you when you gone. And look at it. And he'll be coaching for somebody else next week wearing different colors while you still wrapped in your black and gold. He'd be going up against your squad. So that's my mentality. I know that these people are free agents or people, they'll go and put on people color for the money. You know, you don't do that. You don't go put nobody else's color on for the money. These are what you call, these are like mercenaries. Wherever they go, they don't go. I'm gonna leave from here. I'm gonna go over there and put the next man's clothes on or whatever. So next thing you a black and gold guy, and now I'm a Dallas Cowboy, or I'm a Dallas Cowboy. Go Cowboys, man. Nah, bro. See, I know from a person perspective that's how it is, and that that is your team, but the player can go wherever you want. You see what I'm saying? You get the coaches can go wherever they want. So you're not going to be disrespecting the Who Dat Nation. I don't care if you're the head coach of the team, the general manager, or the owner. We're not going to tolerate that here, man. We ain't playing that. That's how I feel about it. And that's how I've been representing for all these years. I'm not playing no games with them people when they step out of line with us and we funding you. Are you crazy? Oh, man. I know my power, man. You know your power too. We on cold like a mother with that, man. I ain't playing with them people out here, man, for real. All right, shout out to the fam, man. I just had to get Buck right quick. Sai says people have to realize that this is Winston's last chance at being a star. That's true. This is true. This is true. This is true. Jameis Winston. And listen, bro, I'm going to say this about Jameis. Jameis is, the Saints are not, I'm going to say this, bro. It's about the money. Jameis Winston is not going to sit down. They ain't going to sit him down. The only way he sits down is if they say that, if he comes to them and say that he can't make the throws, and that he's in too much pain and the painkillers don't work. That's the only way he don't do it. And of course, that additive and that he goes out there, he can't throw it. You know, he turns the ball over, you know, and it's just the pain overwhelms him and his thought process and operating offense. If that happens, then they'll remove him. But they wait for that has to be what happens. But in order for that not to happen, the Saints have to max protect Jameis Winston. They can't allow him to take no hits back there. He can't be taking 0 hits. And I know that's kind of far-fetched to say, well, Q, he going to get knocked down once or twice. I understand that. But the 10 sacks over, I don't care whose fault it is. It can't, if it's 10 sacks over the last 2 games, you're talking about where is Jameis or the offensive line position, it's the offensive coordinator problem. The OC got to let him know, listen, bro, you don't do this and you don't do that. If he don't know, the OC got to get him in line. The OC got to tell him, listen, this is what I want you to do. This is how I want you to do it. If you don't feel like you can do this, then throw the ball away, James. Don't stand up there with the ball. Just dump it off. Just incomplete the pass. If you don't see nothing, chuck it down. Check it down, whatever. You take a shot if you see something. Let's set up something before you take shots down. The OC got to get all that together. You know, so the medical staff, man, them people know off top that man ain't supposed to be playing under them kind of conditions. But they got all this this industrial strength cortisone shit that they shooting up in his back. So they hopefully think that if the pain, it can dull the pain where he can concentrate on the game. So we'll see, man. We'll see how it all thinks. But I'm going to tell you honestly that the Saints ain't going to bitch Jameis Winston until he can't do the job no more. That's what it comes down to for real. It's about the money. And people pay what Jameis' salary is like $28 million. And he making what, $14 million a year? Man, them people are not going to sit him down, bro. They just, unless he cannot play. You know, that's how they go. Nobody want to stand up there and say, you know, this is how it goes. You know, none of them dudes want to say that. All right. So anyway, man, let's keep it going. All right. So 504 says that not mad at Jameis. He's fighting for his career. This is really his last chance to change the narrative. Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate. But it is what it is, man. Yeah. Yeah, Carla, you're right. You used to light Amy Just up. Yeah, remember you used to talk shit about Amy Just? And them people just sit up there and look. Nobody said nothing to her. And I used to get on there and say, man, Sean Payton talking to this lady and she asking questions. You know why? Because she wasn't domesticated like the rest of them. Because Sean Payton had them people, he had them people, they did not ask questions that he didn't like. The people was in there asking what favorite snowball you like. Remember I used to play all that? And I'm like, man, ask some tough questions. Ask them why you still calling offensive plays and not Carmichael. You know? Why you doing it? You know, when you was calling bad, won't you let Carmichael do it? Why you didn't ask those questions? Because they asked him they only asked him twice than my recollection of listening to him twice over all of the years he was there. You can't challenge his authority. That's what it was about, man. Whatever he wanted to go, he was stubborn. Just like Parcells. He came right from Parcells. He's a stubborn ass dude. He didn't want to hear it. And I'm gonna make it work. All right, whatever. All right, shout out to the fam, man. Sai said to save his life, the Saints have to run the ball. They gotta run the ball. That's what it comes. That's when it comes down to, man. You gotta run the ball. TD506 says not 9 through. He still has I don't know what you mean there, fam. Gunner said Dennis Allen was never sold on Jameis being QB1 anyway. You could tell by Dennis' body language. Well, I mean, they tried to go after Deshaun Watson, you know. Jameis was the fallback, right? They wanted who they wanted. They couldn't get who they wanted, and they really tried. They emptied and restructured every contract they possibly could. Deshaun Watson was playing games. Deshaun Watson said, I'm going to Cleveland when they gave him all that extra money. The Saints failed to acquire Deshaun Watson, but he was playing games. He's trying to go to Atlanta. He was trying to go to Atlanta and build a team, and he was using the Saints as leverage to go back home. But then Cleveland, desperate as all outdoors, came up with all that money to pay him. And he said, well, I'll go to Cleveland. But I think the Saints dodged a big bullet with the Deshaun Watson nonsense. I really do think they did a thing. And then, of course, Jameis was the fallback option. But Jameis is not a fallback option. The Saints have to use the entirety of the offense. You got to run the ball. This should be a running team with the pass action, the play action off the run. That's what it should have been from the get-go. It should have been a running team. Because, I mean, you talk about Jameis throws should be anywhere between 20 to 25 attempts per contest. Nothing over 30 attempts per game, man. Nothing. No. This should be a running style attack with the play action off it. And we'll get a lot of success if we do that. So we'll see what they look like, but it should be a 30 plus rush attempts against Carolina, man. I mean, how could you not? If they go back up in there doing that same stuff, then somebody is drinking. Somebody drunk and they need to get kicked out, kind of demoted. All right, TD5 says Sean signed him but never realized in him. DA signed him but never believed in him. Come on, bro. They wouldn't have signed him if they didn't believe. Yeah, I think they believe in Jameis Winston. I don't think they don't believe in Jameis Winston. I think Dennis Allen could have went and possibly there was quarterbacks that got traded and moved around during the offseason, a lot of them. If they were really wanting to get involved, they could have got involved because a lot of that, they knew who was moving around, man. They knew what teams wanted and they could have got involved. It was some of the other quarterbacks that were being traded around and moved. They could have offered up more capital. They could have offered up, whatever they wanted to do if they really wanted a player. They emptied to try to chase Deshaun Watson. It failed. But Jameis Winston is a guy that, I think you can win with Jameis Winston, but I think the Saints need to operate more of a run-based offense first, set up everything till we get the passing game. Even when we do get the passing game going, I think the Saints are better, well served to just to run the ball and dominate people with the run, and then operate pass off run. Then you get all the vertical stuff. You get the play action going. You can do whatever you want to do then, and then he can throw the ball around. So I mean, I think that's what it is. Yeah, Chance said stop taking sacks. That's true. All right, so anyway, Jamie says, I'm going to be honest with you. Mark Ingram should be out the game and put Murray in. They're not going to do that, Jamie. They're not going to bench Mark Ingram for his fumbles, his back-to-back fumbles. They're not going to do that, bro. I know. I remember in the last game when he fumbled that ball and he was out for a few, and then you seen him back in the game later on. Had that been Peyton, he would have benched him for the game. Yeah, he would have benched him for the game. 2 back-to-back fumbles. Peyton would have benched him and moved somebody ahead of him on the depth chart. He did that several times. I remember one time he did it with Tim Hightower. When they got Tim Hightower and they benched Mark Ingram because he kept fumbling the goddamn ball. Sean Payton put Tim Hightower in there, and Tim Hightower was running the ball. He had started 2 games over Mark Ingram and was running the ball real well. He was running that ball real well. And Mark Ingram would get in the guy, he would run pissed off. And that's what happens. Like, you know, he'll run pissed off. And Sean Payton knew how to motivate Mark Ingram when he started putting the ball on the ground. Sean Payton would have benched him. He'd have benched him. He would have definitely benched him. That's one thing I do appreciate Coach Payton would have done. He would have benched him. All right, 504 code. All right, says Q, how comfortable are you with Dalton if we have to go with him? I think Dalton will do a real good job for you. I'm going to keep it a buck with you. I think Dalton will do a real good job. He'll be in there. He'll be efficient. I don't think he becomes Joe Montana, but then again, all you have to be in the Saints offense is, you know, go through your progressions and find the right player. And if you have a modicum of accuracy and an arm to push the ball, you're going to have success because there's talent everywhere. It's hard to mess up in the Saints offense. I mean, you got talent everywhere. You got guys we are a team loaded with offensive firepower, just offensive speaking. You got offensive guys all over the place. You got Mike Thomas, Chris Olave, Jarvis Landry, Elvin Kamara, Taysom Hill. I mean, you got Deontay Hardy they can roll out there. I mean, and even Juwan Johnson looks really good. He really stepped up to the point where they didn't move Troutman out the way and Juwan Johnson in there getting it because he looks real good in the first team, blocking and catching the ball, getting where he's supposed to be. Juwan Johnson, the unseated Troutman in the offense, it appears. But like I said, there's weapons all over the place. It's hard to screw that up. You know, it's hard to screw that up. So I think Dalton gets in there, and I think Dalton he'll have some success. I think the Saints will still run the ball, you know, but I don't think he'll turn the ball over. I think he'll do you a good job in there. I think Dalton would do a good job for the Saints. Bishop says Pete better get his priorities straight. Defense just getting started. Sacks are coming. Indeed. All right. TD says Sean would have benched him against Atlanta. Yeah, he would have. Big Irv says sometimes when you get wide receivers like Thomas and Landry, you feel like you have to get them the ball and start forcing it. Last season, Jameis looked better when he was throwing it to no names. Yeah, the pressure wasn't on him to force it to Mike Thomas. Well, Thomas is his first option. Mike Thomas is option number one. So you look at Mike before you look at anybody, baby. That's how it go. Money stipulates that. When you look at Mike is option number one, you know, so that's what it comes down to. So if Mike is not open, you kind of cycle through things. You can find Elvin Kamara if you have to. But I think that's a part of it. Yeah, they come with a certain amount of pressure. But as a quarterback, Jameis has to still be able to make people understand that I go to the open man. And if I go to the open man, I'm going to throw a listen. You get open, I'm going to find you. That should be the rhetoric that Jameis tells his wide receivers. You get open, I'll find you, which would motivate the wide receivers to do a better job of separating or doing whatever they got to do to get open, to get the ball. If you're open, I will find you, you know, and that's what it should be. You know, so and then of course we don't have guys or divas on this team where they see another man shining and they be like, man, I ain't getting the ball. Now we don't have all that going on, man. Everybody, the offense is so grand that everybody has an opportunity to get the ball, and I think that's a part of it. All right. Sai say, isn't Hardy faster than Olave? So why isn't he in the fly? Well, that's a good question, bro. I did see them put Olave and Deontay Hardy out there at the same time, but nothing became of it, you know. That's like a play that they have to get used to running. Like that's got to be considered your speed package when you put Chris Olave and Deontay Hardy out there, you know what I'm saying? Burning up shit. All right, Tim says 2 of the picks were against the exact same coverage. Both times check down was wide open. Yeah, we know, bro. Well, yeah, I seen the check down. Yeah, every one of them interceptions that he threw, they had the guy that was open. Yeah. Yeah, and that's what he said in the interviews, that I got to be patient. He got caught up in the nonsense because the game was inside of 7 minutes and he trying to force the ball up the field to try to create grand plays and he got baited. He got baited and he's staring down receivers, fired it in there to Jarvis, and the guy steps in front of it and paid. The guy was standing there. If you put the tape on, the safety was standing just to right of that. He ain't just, you know, just did something where he just he was invisible and then he uncloaked himself. No, if you look at the tape, that man was standing there watching him eye down Jarvis Landry the whole time. And then Jameis sat there and eyed him down and then darted to him, and any NFL defensive back would have jumped that route and took that ball to the house. So that's what happens, man. All right. So anyway, let's keep it going. So let's see. 504 case says, I think Pete Carmichael has so many weapons that he don't know what to do with them yet. Well, I mean, rhythm is a part of it. So we got time to figure it out. It's only 3 weeks in. All right. Rose says Carmichael is timid. He need to get that dog in him. I don't think that happens. But we already knew that. We knew that Carmichael was always a timid guy. We always knew that. Remember, he didn't want to take the job. Remember, he had to be forced into, I ain't gonna say forced into it, but remember when they offered him the job originally, like, nah, I don't really want the job. I'm gonna just work in the back here. I'm gonna be back here, sitting down here. I don't want it. Remember, that's how it went originally. They gave him the job originally. He turned it down. And it was only after the Saints started doing searches to find offensive coordinators that he then stepped up and said, you know what, I'll take it. Maybe somebody told him, hey, man, this might be a chance for you to do something. But he didn't step up to it. We always knew Pete Carmichael has always been a timid guy. He's always been a quiet, unassuming guy. You know, that's what kind of person you got to be to work with a guy like Sean Payton for, what, 16 years? You think Carmichael's an alpha? If that was the case, you'd have seen Coach Payton come out there with black eyes and all that shit, lumped up all up inside of his Superdome. Because any person ain't gonna stand for that, man. You know what I'm saying? Pete Carmichael, we know he ain't no alpha, man. We've been knew that, man. You working with Sean Payton for years, and you ain't lumping Payton up. We know what time it is, fam. We know it. We've been knew that, bro. That's kind of, we know we've been through that. Man, matter of fact, I was talking to DC about that. DC said, "Can you know, we've been saying that." I was like, yeah, I know how in a recent ones when he didn't want to take that OC job when his first handed to him, he went and sat in the back there. Oh, I don't want it. I'm just sit here and I'll just be an assistant. I'll sit back here and be an assistant. You know, and isn't that how it went? And then next thing you know, what? After they were looking, then he just popped up and said, I'm the offensive coordinator now. Remember that? I'm telling y'all, man, we know what time it is, but that he don't have to be an alpha to run the Saints offense. He just has to be in line with his quarterback and offense and have the proper scheme to be able to run. So it needs to be the running attack. Let's focus on running the ball because the offensive line is better at running the ball than our pass blocking. Let's run the ball. You're number 9 in the NFL in rushing the ball. That's a blessing. Let's run the ball and set everything else on that. Rose says, Q, did you see Shaquille Stevenson lost his belt because he missed the weight? Yeah, that just motivated him. I seen that, man. That's the second time I've seen that recently with George Kambosos fighting Devin Haney to unify or the undisputed title for when Devin Haney and Kambosos was fighting. Kambosos missed the weight, you know, and he didn't lose his belts, but, you know, he had to do whatever he had to do to get to that weight. And he finally did. He had to strip down and everything. They do all that up there, you know, but Shakur came out and said it's getting difficult. Remember, he's fighting at 130 and he's saying it's difficult to keep. But if you're a pro, you're supposed to make weight. You know, you're supposed to make weight. So I think this will be his last fight there. Yeah, but I've seen it, man. That'll just motivate him even more to fight against Kansayao. But you know, Kansayao is a veteran fighter who's gonna give him, you know, a challenge. But I think Shakur Stevens ultimately beats him. But I think Stevens after this fight will move up because I think he's gonna move up in weight. Really good fighter, man. But he knows better than that, man. So this will motivate him, man, to beat the guy. But then also he probably will vacate his belts and move up. We'll see how it go, man. And then again, we'll see. I don't think he wants to stay there anymore. All right, Jonathan says, what do you think is the passing game's biggest issue? Passing game biggest issue, bro, is they don't have any rhythm, any harmony. That's the biggest issue, you know. And usually you don't have any rhythm and harmonies because the plays that you call in is not sparking anything. Or you might get one good one here, a bad one there. You know what I'm saying? It's not the right collection of plays. So they need to get they need rhythm plays, the plays that Jameis Winston and that's familiar with, plays that he knows how to run, things that he knows like the back of his hand in the Saints offense. That you know, it's like it's a flock of plays that, you know, the offense, they run well. The coordinators see it when they practice it, like, man, they really run these plays well. They like the hell out of these plays. Those plays the Saints need to kind of put together and run at it. But like I said, I think what helps them out is they got to use more of the running attack. I think that helps out the passing attack. It gives you the balance that you're seeking. It gives you the play action. It gets the defense head on the swivel, not knowing what you're going to do. It gets them thinking. And once they start thinking, then you can kind of move the ball on them. So I'm thinking, besides that, the biggest issue with, because they got all the talent in the world, it's just rhythm. And without rhythm and harmony or synergy, you know, you look despondent, disconnected, you know, and that's what I see based on what the film that I've seen. So thank you, Jonathan. All right. All right. Yeah, I know, Wallace. Yeah, October. We're going to be covering that, bro. October the 1st, we're going to be live covering that, well, what is it? Next Monday. Next Monday, the Pelicans got a press conference that we'll be covering on the Pelican post-game report. Yeah, matter of fact, the scrimmage game in the arena, we will, me and DC and the rest of my fam, we will be in the building at that game, just to let y'all know. All right, shout out. All right, Brother Watson, thank you. If we wish to lose Sunday with Jameis Winston playing, what will be the game plan next? He said, if we wish to lose Sunday with Jameis Winston playing, what will be the game plan next week? I don't know, bro. I mean, if we lose the game, is what you're saying, Brother Wallace? I don't think we lose the game, but anything possible, right? If the Saints go in there and have a stink fest, then you got to really seriously start looking at things, what you can do there. And, you know, and of course, the first thing they're going to look at is Jameis and say he's hurt and you can't make the plays, but it all depends on how it looks, how you look in the loss, because it might not be his fault or however the game goes. You know, it depends. Like, but if you lose, it's definitely stuff you got to start looking at with what's wrong with the Saints offense with all that talent around. Like, you really going to lose the game with Elvin Kamara there? You know, I mean, he's back with all that. I mean, it's hard to screw up what the Saints have built here, offensively speaking. You got talent everywhere. You got top-notch talent everywhere. It's hard to screw that up. I can understand you losing because you don't have no talent. But they have talent everywhere. So I don't see them lose. I guess anything possible, but I really don't see them losing to the Carolina Panthers. I think the Carolina Panthers is the right team for us right now to kind of get right against. I really do. I think they're a medicine team. You know, they like Tylenol. You take them and we feeling a little cold. Let's get this. Let's take some of this vitamin C over here, and we're gonna get better off of you. So that's what I see Carolina as. No disrespect. But the Saints should be able to run the ball on the Carolina Panthers. They should be able to run over Carolina in this game. The Saints should be able to maul them because they're not really good at stopping the run that well, even though they did do a good job against Saquon Barkley. But the Saints should be able to run the ball against the Carolina Panthers, no disrespect. Trader Playbook said, do you think Jameis started enough to run? He said, do you think Jameis is smart enough to run the offense? We didn't have this issue with Breeze. Breeze was accurate and was intelligent and good decisions. Jameis' intelligence is in question. I don't think it's Jameis' intelligence, bro. I think Jameis is plenty intelligent. I think Jameis, the right word you is missing right there in my estimation is not intelligence, it's patience. That's what it comes down to, because people take a snide at Jameis Winston's intellect, but he's a very smart dude. If you listen to him break down stuff, he knows what he's talking about. He got leader capabilities and qualities. He points people where they need to go. He explains schemes and things that he'll orchestrate an offense for you. It's not Jameis's intelligence that's the issue. It's his patience. And that's what people keep missing. And by studying Jameis in the years that he's been here, that's what I noticed. Jameis's big flaw is patience. He's impatient at times. So I don't think it has nothing to do with his intelligence, the trader's playbook. I think Jameis' impatience is one of the things that gets him in trouble. He gets impatient as opposed to taking the check down right. He wants to force it into, think he has the arm to force it into double coverage to split defenders and make a play. And then the guy is faster than what he anticipates, picks the ball off. So yes, I think his patience has to be improved. And to understand, you know what you're looking like, and don't press it. Just take what is given to you. Because if you take what's given to you, eventually you're going to get what you want. You're going to start moving that ball underneath. Sooner or later, I have to adjust to what you're doing because you're having success. And once that happens, then you can take what you want after that. So, I mean, I think it's more patience than intelligence. But yes, I do think he has the intelligence to run the Saints offense. He's done it and he has been successful doing it. So, all right. So, yeah. Some of the family members said timing, poise. Yeah, I would say all of that is tied to his patience. Some people say his emotions. Most of the quarterbacks play with emotion and still win the game. Some of them channel the emotion and use it to spark them, to drive them to have game, because it's a game of emotion. You can't be out there stoic and expect stoic. You're out there stoic, stone faced, you know, No, it's a living game with people happy and it's emotions everywhere. People pumping their fists, and some people are mad or sad because of the guy that's pumping his fist scored a touchdown on them. So I mean, that happens. You know what I'm saying? That happens. So yeah, and people saying poise, they're saying timing, and I can't dispute that. I think those are valid points. And Jerry says his emotions, and emotions can't get the best of you if you don't control them. This is true. But I think my word I would use, like the family members use, is patience. I think he needs to go back to what Drew told him about being patient. But he's a smart dude, man. All right. Jonathan says, what's your impression of Alontae Taylor? He seemed to look solid in 17 snaps. Do you think they get more snaps this week? Well, he was on the injury list there. Well, he's limited in playing, but that's the goal. And Dennis Allen spoke about that before about Alontae Taylor. He wants to get him more reps. Alontae Taylor, the future's bright for Alontae Taylor, and the Saints will try to fit him in any way they can to get him live game reps. So yeah, I anticipate them to keep on using him any way they can to get him on the field. So yeah, I think eventually he'll get more snaps. So thank you for that question. All right. Trent says, Q, don't underestimate anyone, please. That's why we lose. No, I'm not underestimating them. No, I'm not underestimating Carolina. I'm not going to underestimate them. I think Carolina has some. They're under the gun too. They got a coach that's facing. He could be fired real soon. He could be the first one fired. I mean, they lose to the Saints that have been 10 games in a row that they lost. This is the 9th game. If he loses to the Saints, this will be the 10th game. They'll be 0-3 out the gate. He could be the first coach fired. So if the team like him and they want to play for him, they might want to play to keep him from getting fired. They'll be in Carolina. We always have difficulty playing Carolina up there, so I'm well aware. I'm not going to underestimate them. I think the Saints need to go in there and run the ball against Carolina. They really do. I'm not going to underestimate them, though. All right, Quaveda says if Taylor and Debo healthy, Roby should be a healthy scratch. All right. Traders Playbook says, do you think the real reason Peyton faked retired was because he didn't believe Jameis was the guy to get the job done? I think Peyton believed in Jameis Winston. I really do think that. I think Coach Peyton believed in Jameis Winston. Coach Peyton could not develop quarterbacks. As he would take a veteran who has a shorter learning curve and try to teach him his system. Like he got Drew from San Diego all those years. And then Drew had an idea of how to run an NFL offense. And then he worked with Coach Peyton all those years. He did the same thing with Teddy Bridgewater when he traded to get Teddy Bridgewater and brought him in. He knew Teddy was a smart quarterback who could learn his system. And Jameis Winston's the same way. Teddy Bridgewater was the reason why you got Jameis Winston here. Teddy Bridgewater and Jameis are good friends. They're both from the state of Florida. Teddy told Jameis that you should go to New Orleans because he had another offer, and he listened to Teddy Bridgewater. And then, of course, Jameis Winston said he grew up a Saints fan. So I think Sean Payton believed in Jameis Winston, to be honest with you. He did. I think he really did believe in Jameis. And besides, if he didn't want Jameis as his quarterback, if he would have came back this year, he wouldn't have had Jameis as his quarterback because Jameis was a free agent. So he wouldn't have had Jameis. So, it wasn't like Jameis was under, you see what I'm saying? Jameis wasn't under contract. His contract expired last year. And if Peyton had stayed on, he would not have Jameis on the team. So all he had to do was say, I'm staying with the Saints next year, and he would have had Jameis as a quarterback if that was the case. You see what I'm saying? So I think Sean Payton definitely believed in Jameis Winston. He wouldn't have brought him down here. All right. Carla says, Nielsen interview today, he talked about Alontae. Yeah, I remember him talking about him, Queen. Yeah. Renard says, only week three, everyone needs to chill on Jameis. We're going to be all right. Thank you, Renard. Shout out to you. TD504 says, Sean wouldn't have signed Jameis if he didn't believe in him. I know I just said that, bro. Yeah. Melvin says, if anybody can remember the first drive, we went right down the field on the number one defense without the fumble. It's a different game. Yes, indeed. Yeah, that's a part of it, bro. And I think that's what they focus on. The Saints is not a bad team, man. This is a super uber talented team with a top 5 defense, in my estimation, a top 10 offense, a top 5, top 10 secondary. The Saints are a great team. They really are. They have people everywhere. They're the winners, there's sturdy veterans that'll never let the team collapse and fall. And then some of the greatest assistant coaches that you can imagine, the Saints have them in the building. So I have every faith in the Saints to turn this stuff around with Jameis at the helm. I really do. They just adjust the game plan and keep it moving. That's the bottom line. That's what we do. And I've seen too much Saint football to not expect him to win these games, especially when they have the proper talent. Now, if they're hurt and banged up, that's another thing. But the proper talent, Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, Jarvis, now all these guys, Tyrann Mathieu, Cam Jordan, Demario Davis, Will Lutz, are you kidding me? No, the Saints going to be fine. Absolutely. All right, so with that being said, fam, listen, I'm going to pop out on that. Much love to the fam. I appreciate you guys chiming in on this episode of the Sports Coma, man. I shall return on the Friday stream, family. We'll come back to the Friday stream and kind of, we'll go over the Panthers, Saints-Panthers matchup. We'll go over that, and we'll kind of look at the depth charts. We look at some of the players we need to watch out for. You know, what we customarily do on our Friday breakdown stream. We'll go over it, and we'll talk about it. So please feel free to hit the like button. If you hadn't hit the like button, please feel free to share the show's links on your social media feed with other Saints family members. That helps out the stream. And feel free also to look in the description section and hit the link tree link there for check out all the latest merch that we have. We have 2 new shirts that we rolled out, or 2 new collections that we rolled out. One is the Atlanta shirt that we came up with. I've seen a lot of them were red and blue, kind of to remind them of the loss they had in the Super Bowl to the Patriots. But I decided to have the design team to make a black and gold lettering, which is really cool. So that's there at the Pro Shop. And also, You Can't Cheat God Gear. That's another one doing that as well. And we got several others that'll be coming out over the next week or two. That will be reintroducing. And during the Saints season, we always roll out new gear to the Pro Shop. We got literally thousands of items at our 3 different Pro Shops that's available. I think we still got like a 5% deal going on right now. Coming up real soon, we'll kind of throw a sale in that thing as well. So yeah, it helps out the stream too to check that out. So with that being said, man, I'm gonna pop out on that. I'm gonna holler at y'all, man. And listen, I love y'all. Y'all keep y'all heads up, and I'm gonna see y'all on the next stream. Who that to you? And I'm out.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, bugging like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, the WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. Check out the Pro Shop. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section.